The Chiefs-Rams 2018 matchup on Monday Night Football was maybe the greatest football game we've ever seen. The Chiefs-Bills playoff game in 2022 would probably like a word, and probably deserves a video just like this one. But in my opinion, this game has the most excitement one can ask for an entire 60 minutes. This game and all the moving parts surrounding it are incredibly weird. You can tell that off the jump with these god-awful mustard yellow jerseys that I kinda love. Why the Rams decided to wear these tonight of all nights, I'll never know, but they've only helped make this game even more memorable. The weirdness doesn't stop there, because this game was never supposed to be played in Los Angeles or in the United States of America at all. 2016 saw the first game played in Mexico between the Oakland Raiders and the Houston Texans, in Mexico City's marquee stadium Estadio Azteca. A week before today's game, the NFL and NFL Players Association sent representatives to inspect the stadium and decided that the field conditions were too poor for the game to be played. So the Rams, being the designated home team, had to scramble to make sure the LA Coliseum was ready to play host to a Monday night game. So that's how we got here. There's many more stories packed into the next 4 quarters, and this game weaves them all together perfectly. Rams get the ball first and charge down the field. It takes them less than 3 minutes to score the game's opening touchdown after Goff fades a pass to Robert Woods in the corner of the end zone. Kicker Greg Zuerlein misses the extra point. That will be important later, but the Rams go up early 6-0. Kansas City's first possession leads to a rare 3-and-out from this offense, and with 9:56 left in the first, the Rams get the ball right back. A play-action call leads to a wide-open Robert Woods for a 25-yard pickup, but look at Woods on this play. Wide open. The nearest Chief is about 8 yards away. If Goff were a more accurate passer, this could have very well been a touchdown. Oh, Jared Goff. More on him later. A few plays later, the Rams score on a nice Jared Goff pass to Josh Reynolds in the other corner of the end zone. LA is up 13-0 with seemingly little resistance from the Chiefs' defense, and Goff and the Rams are completely cooking. This will change very, very quickly. On the next drive, it only takes the Chiefs 4 plays to get from their own 25 to the end zone. A 25-yard run by Kareem Hunt, followed by 2 big catches from Tyreek Hill, put Kansas City on the board. Kareem Hunt is going to show up a lot during this game, and for me to accurately talk about him as both a person and a player, I need to give context for who he is and what he was at this point in time. At this point in his career in 2018, he's regarded as one of the most exciting young running backs in the entire league, and he adds another spark of energy that this new-look Mahomes-led Chiefs team needs. The year prior, he ran for an astounding 1,327 yards, leading the entire league as a rookie. He's on pace to break 1,000 yards again this year, but this would actually be his final game of the season and his final game as a Chief. On November 30th, just 11 days after this game, a video was released from February showing Hunt physically assaulting a woman in a Cleveland hotel. I'm not going to show any of that footage, but the evidence is very clear. The Chiefs released Hunt the day the video was released, stating that they knew about the incident, but that Hunt was not entirely truthful about the events that took place. Hunt was signed by the Cleveland Browns that offseason, but had to serve an 8-game suspension before taking the field in 2018. Looking back, this was never enough punishment, especially for a league that has a terrifyingly large problem with assault issues amongst its players. We'll never know what the woman said that led to his actions on that Friday night in February, and I definitely won't make a case that we should forget about his actions because of his on-field success. On the next drive, the Rams don't get in the end zone, but Zuerlein kicks a 23-yard field goal to make it a 2-possession game. The Rams are up by 9 and have scored on all 3 of their offensive possessions. The Chiefs' next drive gets them all the way to the Rams' 1-yard line, but ends up short as the Rams' defense comes up with a great goal line stand to keep Hunt out of the end zone. Harrison Butker knocks through the field goal and Kansas City trails 10-16. Now here's where it all starts to really get weird. Rams run 1 play before Jared Goff is sacked by Xavier Williams on 2nd down. No matter, it's still 3rd and 12. Not great, but still very doable for this offense. Let's see what Goff does. Oh no. Goff is unable to do his best athlete impression and loses the ball to the oncoming wave of Chiefs linemen. The Chiefs recover the ball on the 21-yard line and score on the next play on a nice screen set for Kareem Hunt. Chiefs lead for the first time tonight, 17-16. On their next drive, the Rams are forced to punt for the first time tonight, and Kansas City gets the ball back with a chance to extend their lead. One of the reasons this game is great is because of how back and forth it was. If something weird happened to one team, the same thing was bound to happen to the other. If one team looked as if they were about to pull away, some strange higher power would cause something to happen that kept the other team in it. Sometimes it wasn't weird at all. Sometimes it was a person wreaking havoc, and most of the time that person was Aaron Donald, a man who needs no introduction. On the Chiefs' next drive, Donald tackles Patrick Mahomes and forces a fumble. Ebukam scoops up the ball and runs it in for the touchdown. Look at Donald on this play. He looks like a killer whale going in for the kill. Rams score a defensive touchdown and take the lead right back with under 2 to play in the half. Aaron Donald, along with the rest of the Rams defense, saw what just happened on their end of the field and decided to take matters into their own hands. The Chiefs get the ball back and don't make the same mistakes as last drive. They execute a clinical 2-minute drill with only 1 timeout, and with 20 seconds remaining, Mahomes finds Conley for a Chief touchdown. Remember on the Rams' first drive how they missed their extra point? Butker lines up for the kick and misses wide left. Tie game headed into the half.
Are you kidding?
This game was destined to be as gridlocked as possible and has already given us a little bit of everything. Defensive touchdowns, excellent QB play, crappy kickers, we've seen it all. Chiefs fans and football fans from Missouri in general were going into this game with a chip on their shoulder. This is the first time the Chiefs and Rams had met since the Rams had left St. Louis in 2016. To this day, St. Louis still holds a grudge over the NFL and Rams owner Stan Kroenke. The city of St. Louis even filed a lawsuit about collusion that led to the Rams leaving town, which resulted in a fine. Cross-state rival turned good guys Kansas City Chiefs were the natural team to root for after the Rams left town. And wouldn't it be nice to beat the team that left your city and your state? For the people of Missouri, people from St. Louis, there wasn't anything sweeter for the team that abandoned them to lose to the NFL's next dynasty and the future MVP. I'm from Missouri. People do not like the Rams. For the Rams, the Chiefs weren't the bad guys. They were just the team put on their schedule on this Monday night, a night that they desperately needed to get a win for their own fans and for their city. On November 7th, just 12 days before the game, a gunman opened fire at a bar in Thousand Oaks, California. 13 people were killed and many more were injured. The following day, wildfires broke out in Southern California, displacing many California residents and families. Because of the scrambled nature of this game, the Rams were able to give away free tickets to the first responders as well as the victims of these recent tragedies. In the grand scheme of things that matter, a football game ranks severely low, but to the people who were affected by these tragedies, this game gave them something to root for. Providing the people of LA even just one night to come together for something good, that's what matters. So thank the crappy Mexico landscaping crew for making this game happen how it did. Thank Roger Goodell if you can stomach it, or if you believe in higher deities, thank the football gods. They can be good sometimes. The Chiefs receive the ball at half and immediately make a charge downfield, threatening to score. On a 1st and 10 at the Rams' 25-yard line, Patrick Mahomes is again sacked by Aaron Donald, who again forces a fumble, this one rolling all the way back across the 50-yard line before being swallowed up by the Rams. Patrick Mahomes walks back to the sideline looking like he just got hit by a bus, but honestly, what's the difference with Aaron Donald? With good field position, the Rams are able to capitalize. Goff scores a rare scrambling running touchdown. He lays the ball over the goalpost and looks out to the LA crowd who cheer him on. Look at him. The confidence is radiating. As far as I can tell, this is one of the last times that Jared Goff had complete confidence or any fun on a football field in Los Angeles. Later this season, the Rams would go on to win the NFC Championship game all fair and square and set up a date with the Patriots in the Super Bowl, who also won their championship game clean as a whistle. It was here that the Rams machine fell apart, scoring only 3 points and being held without a touchdown all game to a Patriots team that they should have steamrolled. Then the Rams offense started to really collapse. Goff went from being in MVP talks to being called a system quarterback. After their incredible 13-3 season, the Rams would go 9-7 the following year and miss the playoffs, watching their division rival San Francisco climb the mountain the Rams had just fallen from. If it's any consolation to Rams fans, the 49ers also lost the Super Bowl, this time to the, hey, would you look at that? LA's 2020 campaign ended in a 10-6 record and a wildcard spot where they faced their division opponent, the Seattle Seahawks. They won that game as an underdog and then traveled to Green Bay to face the 1-seed Packers. They didn't get any further than that, but I'd say most Rams fans were satisfied. It was an expected decision, but something had to change if they were expected to get over that hump and back to the Super Bowl, and everyone knew just what that change would be. Jared Goff, who was now nursing a thumb injury from those playoffs, had been playing poorly as of late, throwing more interceptions and less touchdowns each of the following 2 years. His completion percentage stayed about the same, but his total yardage took a massive dip in 2020. His biggest criticism, he was playing it too safe for an offense that should be one of the most explosive in the league. His deep ball was virtually gone, and it wasn't for lack of arm talent. It seems like the abysmal Super Bowl performance robbed us of the Jared Goff that lived without fear, the one that we see in front of us tonight. On January 30th, 2021, the Rams traded Jared Goff, a third-round pick in 2021, a first-round pick in 2022, and a first-round pick in 2023 to the Detroit Lions in exchange for 33-year-old Matthew Stafford. It's easy to look at what happened after and feel bad for Jared Goff. After falling from the mountaintop, he never climbed back up, and maybe never will. What's even worse is that Stafford was able to help the Rams to a Super Bowl win in his very first year with the team in 2021. To be told that you're the reason that an entire franchise is unable to win the big one must be a pretty bad feeling. To have it be proved correct right in front of your eyes, that's a whole nother stratosphere of pain. Jared Goff is one of my favorite football players in the league, and it's kind of because I feel bad for the guy. But that's the future, or rather for us, the present. For one night in November 2018, before the terrible Super Bowl performance, before the thumb injury, before the trade, if only for a moment, Jared Goff was on top of the world. I don't think he ever received this type of elation ever again in LA. That's okay. He has right now. This moment belongs to him. It doesn't take the Chiefs long to tie the game up again with a few connections from Mahomes to tight end Travis Kelce, his favorite target. Tie game once again. The Rams tack on a field goal to retake a slim lead in the dying minutes of the third quarter. What's interesting about this drive is two key first downs by this guy. If you thought Jared Goff's story was sad, let me introduce you to Todd Gurley. Gurley was another Ram MVP candidate in 2018, having come in second in MVP voting just the year before. He's proven himself as the best running back in the game, and besides Mahomes, maybe the biggest star on this field tonight. But Gurley, like Goff, also had a drop-off in production following 2018, but under a completely different set of circumstances. Late in the 2018 season, Gurley fell victim to a knee injury. He was essentially demoted to backup before the playoffs. After the 2019 season, one where the Rams missed the playoffs, the Rams surprisingly released Todd Gurley. His contract was just too much money for someone they thought would never be again the player that he once was. He was only 25. He was picked up by the Atlanta Falcons in 2020 on a one-year deal, but all of his stats took a big dip. He hasn't played a game since. He went almost as fast as he got here, going from starring in commercials and being the real face of the league for a time to quite literally nothing at all. But like Jared Goff, that doesn't matter here. Tonight belongs to so many people, and Todd is one of them. On the very next play from Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes throws a quick pass to Demetrius Harris that doesn't make it past the line of scrimmage. In one swooping arm motion, Samson Ebukam swats the ball out of midair and catches it, returning it 25 yards for a Rams touchdown. Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill almost combined for the tackle, but Ebukam muscles his way into the end zone for his second defensive score of the night. Now seems like a good time to tell you that we've hit 70 points combined. Only 3.8% of all football games in NFL history have ever scored higher than 70 points. We're reaching the limit to what we know about this sport, and we're doing it in just about every way possible. Of course, with the Chiefs, no lead feels comfortable. With 12 minutes left in the fourth and down by 10, Patrick Mahomes heaves this bomb to a wide-open Tyreek Hill for a 73-yard touchdown. We already saw missed PATs and fumbles from both teams, but for a third time tonight, a weird thing that doesn't happen often in a football game is about to happen to both teams at relatively the same time. We just saw Mahomes throw an interception that magically stayed in the air long enough for Ebukam to catch it and return it to the end zone. Now with the Rams facing a 3rd and 11, Jared Goff is sacked by Justin Houston, leading to a fumble recovery by Allen Bailey, who scores the defensive touchdown. As Houston makes a play on the ball, you can see it spin its way right into the hands of Bailey, who just has to waltz into the end zone. In the span of 2 minutes, the Chiefs went from down 10 to up 4. Their lead doesn't last for long though, as on the very next drive, the Rams score another touchdown to gain their lead back. Goff to Everett. It's not the prettiest drive, but this hasn't been the prettiest game. The teams trade 3 and outs before the Chiefs drive downfield to score another touchdown on a 10-yard pass from Mahomes to Chris Conley. This touchdown puts Kansas City up by 4 with only 2:47 on the clock. This also tallies our combined score at 98. Only 6 games in NFL history have ever scored higher than the spectacle we are currently witnessing. The Rams and Chiefs are on their way to joining and even potentially surpassing the known limit of the game. The Rams have the ball, and with no timeouts, have to come up with not just a game-winning drive, a game-winning touchdown. By the time they get to the 2-minute warning, they're at the Chiefs' 40. I've spent almost the entire video describing the stories of these Rams, their lives, their successes, their shortcomings. What's about to happen is one of the greatest plays in recent Rams history.
Goff on first down. Everett in stride. Wow! Touchdown Rams!
The Rams score on an absolutely beautiful ball from Goff, taking the lead 51-54. The Chiefs try to threaten back, but after a few Mahomes interceptions where he tries to go deep, one intercepted by former Chief and known shithouser Marcus Peters, the game ends with the final score of 51-54, the 3rd highest scoring game in NFL history. Coming out of that 2-minute warning, McVay knew exactly what to do to put Goff in the best position to succeed. He always did that, and it's a shame Goff couldn't always capitalize. Goff's legacy in LA will be remembered as the guy who wasn't good enough for McVay's offensive brilliance, and the guy to blame for the Rams' shortcomings. On October 24th, 2021, the Goff-led Lions nearly beat the Rams in what would have been the Lions' first win of that season. A late-game interception by Goff in the end zone does them in. Classic Jared. The Lions wouldn't get their first win until their 12th game of the season, and the elation of Goff after throwing the game-winning touchdown as time expired is something that always makes me smile. I genuinely love Jared Goff. For the first time in decades, they're projected to be the best team in their division, and Goff may be the guy to lead them to their first playoff win in over 30 years. He was never supposed to be there long-term after the Stafford trade, but he has proven himself to be a very good and extremely dependable quarterback, something that was unthinkable just 2 short seasons ago. To start out the season, Goff and the Lions will be heading to Kansas City to face the Chiefs for the NFL's season opener. For Jared, this is the first meeting with the Chiefs for him since that 2018 matchup. I'm not sure if the sparks will fly like they did 5 years ago, but the promise and hype around both of these teams is there. If this game resembles anything like that Monday night matchup, and if Jared Goff is truly back, we're in for something special yet again.
Everett in stride. Wow! Touchdown!